welcome back to Cabbage Patch. I'm Dad.
I'm Tommy.
And I'm Gus.
And today we're going to review
Battletech. A game of armored combat.
Specifically,
and many boxes.
Specifically we're going to review the beginner's box, which is
basically
really,
all you need to know to get, which is basically all you need to get into Battletech.
Camera's over there, so when you talk, you should look at the camera. So the beginner's box comes with two of these really great plastic Battletech Battlemech miniatures. Some record sheets that you can use a dry erase marker on. Some cardboard standees so that you can have more reinforcements and more terrain variability. A couple of dice and quick start rules. So we played the quick start version of Battletech. It's very similar. If you'll notice here, we've got the old school. It says it's the second edition, but it's the first time the game was called Battletech. Before it was called Battle Droids. That I played way back in the 80s. So it was one of my favorite games growing up.
They changed it to Battletech because of Star Wars?
Probably, right? There's a lot of legal stuff that was going on around Battletech at the time.
Battle Droids. Beep, boop, Roger, Roger. Pew, pew.
So it was a game that like I said, I played way back when I was Tommy's age. And I thought it was one of the greatest games I'd ever played. Back then, you had cardboard maps, and this is actually a map from the original version that came out of that box. You had metal miniatures that came in these spiffy boxes. I can't find my assembled metal miniatures. They're somewhere in the storage unit, but I'll keep looking for them. But otherwise, they were the same. They were the same miniatures and a lot of the same battle mechs. Right. This set from Catalyst Games comes with what they used to call the unseen battle mechs. So another place where they got into legal trouble was with people who made some anime series in the 80s. And if you'll notice, this thing on the cover of the original Battletech box is it's called a Warhammer in the Battletech universe, but it's not a Gundam, but it's like those things from a lot of the animes with giant robots in it.
Even Battletech did have the Gundam license for a very short time, though.
It had some Gundams.
Even though it didn't actually have any Gundams at all in it.
Right. It didn't have any Gundams at all in it. So there's a lot of history here. But this version with the plastic mechs, you get if you buy the full version of the game, you'll get some of those original, more or less unseen mechs here. Let me find the one that actually matches the one that's in the box there. Yep. And
I like how this one's got a spoiler on the back.
Don't think it comes with.
Yes.
So they slightly tuned the miniature that comes with that in one of the basic boxes. But anyway, the beginner's box is really inexpensive. It comes with two mech models. They're two medium mechs. The Wolverine and the Griffin. And they're equally matched, and the quick start rules are pretty fast to play. So in the original Battletech, it was more like a simulator, so this sheet was much bigger. I don't have one handy, but it was much bigger. It had a whole bunch more stuff on it. You had to do things like keep track of heat. You also had rules for punching other mechs, and you had rules for certain types of weapons couldn't be fired at close range. That sort of is done away with in the beginner's box just to make it a really fast skirmish game. So you keep track of everything on these sheets, and you mark off damage to your armor in these little boxes with a dry erase marker. You hash off every time you fire a missile or fire a cannon, and otherwise you spend a lot of time rolling dice. It is not terribly different from the original game. As a matter of fact, I have not quite figured out what the main differences are, other than they've tweaked some of the powers of some of the weapons and probably some of the interplay between mechs. Otherwise, it looks a lot like the original game. It plays a lot like the original game, and the beginner's box plays very fast. So it's a very cool game. I've been playing it for a long time. I was really pleased to find it in the store for really inexpensive, which then made me go out and buy the full version. Because I wanted to have the full version, and the full version comes with another 8 I think 8. Another 8 mechs.
Does it have the one on the box? Because that's a really cool one.
Yes, it does. That's the Battlemaster. It comes with another 8 mechs.
Can I see the
This
Battlemaster?
kind of this board game kind of reminds me of a game that I know about called Titanfall.
It's very similar. There's a lot of similarities. So the Battletech
If you
was...
want to know about
It's
Titanfall,
kind of bent the gun.
if you want to know about Titanfall,
It's fine.
we can't tell you because we're doing
Board
stuff
game
about
reviews.
board games.
Right.
So if you want to know about Titanfall,
But
just
a
go
lot
on
of
YouTube and look up
a lot
stuff
of
about
those
it.
games, right? A lot of the games where you've got giant robots and they're pilots in the giant robots, and they blast each other, and sometimes scenarios will have an objective, but most of the time when I played, it was just blow each other up, which is how we played when we did it. And there's no playthrough video, but it's really straightforward. So you don't have to keep track of heat, you don't have to keep track of some of the range stuff, and you don't have some of the more complicated rules. But in the full game, it has all of that. So
Oh,
it's
this guy's big.
Yeah, he's big. That is an 85-ton assault mech. So that's one of the bigger ones.
Yes.
And that's it. It's a skirmish game. It's a tabletop war game. It comes with everything you need to play in the beginner's box: maps, standees, 2 plastic miniatures. The full box comes with another 8 plastic miniatures, more standees, more maps, and a deeper rule book. It also comes with what they call Alpha Strike cards, which is yet a different version of Battletech that you can play on the table, which is even faster apparently.
We also have, yeah, like Dad said at the beginning of the video, we also have, like, the very
We have the
first-
original, right? That is the original Battletech. That's not my original. My original copy's upstairs. That's a copy that I found online not too long ago that's got everything in it.
So we have, like, 2 original copies.
We have 2 original copies.
Well, I can see like maybe 2 people driving these plastic.
Sometimes they have
these
2.
things.
Sometimes they'll have 2. They'll have a
I-
co-pilot.
I
Most of the
imagine
time it's just one.
There's at least 2 in this mech. There could
Right.
be 3.
No, they all have one pilot, and they might have room for someone else in them.
To like operate other systems.
Right. So in your pilot has statistics. In the base game, they have generic statistics, but in the full game, pilots can have more statistics. They come with pilot cards and things that can customize the game, and that's it. It's if you have the old Battletech, this is a good way to get back into it without damaging your very old, relatively expensive collector's editions. Right. What did you think of the game?
It's cool.
What did you like about it?
Big robot shooty.
Big robot shooties, right? So
I like how I like the basically like I like the health point system.
yep. Sorry, turn the ice machine off. A second. Yeah, keeping track of stuff on the sheets.
If you fill in all the red dots in an arm or a leg, that is destroyed and it damages your abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Like if your arm is destroyed, you have to check your weapons inventory, and if your right arm is destroyed and you have something on your right arm, a weapon on your right arm, you can't use that weapon again.
Everything you need to know is
And
on
if-
these sheets.
And if your head or torso is completely destroyed, you die.
You're dead, or you're
Because your pilot is there in
You're-
your head, and if your torso is blown up, you're just kind of like a bunch of body parts laying on the ground.
that's where the engine is. Interestingly enough, so in the beginner's box, you get these little half sheets. The full game it's a whole piece of paper, and you can laminate those sheets and reuse them just like you can in this, which I've done for several of the ones that we have. So giant robots blowing stuff up. What else did you like? How about you? What was your favorite part?
My favorite part was probably this.
The record keeping.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So each mech has a movement score and a walking, running, and jumping score. Not all mechs can jump. They have different weapons on here, and everything you need to know is on these sheets, and they're on the big sheets too.
When we played this, Gus was getting the upper hand at first, but then I decided screw it, and just went all up in his face and tore him apart.
Yes. So it's a very fun game, and I'm glad we enjoyed it. So what else? So you like the record keeping? You like the giant robots? Is there anything else?
I also like the giant robots.
You also like the giant robots. The giant robots are pretty cool.
I pretty much love this game. It's like very cool.
Yeah. Well, I guess that means then if there's nothing else to say, Are we ready to give it a score?
Yes.
Right. Battletech's one of my favorite games of all time. It's right up there with Space Hulk, so I have to give it a 3. This version of it, the beginner box, is a nice, simple way to get into it. And the full version is as complicated as the original version with a few streamlines. It's a really solid thing, and I really love that they give you miniatures that you don't have to glue together. Because when I was a kid, I had to buy them in these little metal pouches, and I had to glue them together. And gluing them together with super glue is
Hard.
sometimes hard. So it's not like your Gunplas where you can just snap them together. I had to get super glue, and you have to trim them up with a knife and all that stuff. So it's really, really cool to have these. And they can be painted, and a lot of people do. And I probably won't. But they can be painted. The thing I don't like about these miniatures is if you don't play Battletech every day, you forget what some of these mechs are. It would have been good if they had printed the mech name on the base or something. In the old Battletech game, when you bought plastic miniatures, it actually did that. It printed what it was on the base of the miniature, and I have some of those as well. And that's it. So I love it. I'm going to give it a 3 because it's one of my favorite games. Even the beginner thing, which is simpler, I think is still worth a 3. What about you guys?
Yeah, I gotta give it a 3.
You got to give it a 3?
Oh yeah, there's also lore on the back of these.
Yeah, there's all of but the box comes with all sorts of great stuff. There's stories and lore and all sorts of stuff, and a lot of it's from the original art, reminiscent of the original artwork from the original game.
You can either imagine it as a game that comes with story and lore, or story and lore that comes with the game.
It's a little bit of both. The story and lore is pretty good. I've got a pretty big Battletech collection upstairs, so 3.
Yeah.
You gave it a 3. You gave it a 3. That's 9 cabbages. All right. Anything else before we go?
Nope.
All right. In that case, do you want to do the outro?
Subscribe, like, hit that bell, Tommy.
Leave a comment if you wish,
You plenty of cabbages, not us though.
or else I will beat you in Battletech with the griffin.
Alright, goodbye.
Goodbye.
See ya.